question I'm sure you will get asked all the time: what do I need to do to get married?
Yes, all the time. I think it's a big thing for people when they get married, and they focus so much on their dress and their venue and their decor and everything else, but unfortunately we've got this, as I always call, just the kind of boring bit in the middle where you have to do the legalities.
But we make it fun.
Of course, yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's when you break it down, because when you're saying you need to apply for something, you know, it can become a big daunting experience, but the reality is it's pretty straightforward and it's quite simple.
Yeah.
I guess the main guidelines is that you need to apply, you know, no sooner than 12 weeks before your wedding date and no later than 29 days before. But ideally, registrars look for maybe 10 to 12 weeks before the wedding ceremony for your application to win. Obviously, there's 2 forms to fill out. You've got your M10 form and you've got your witness form to fill out alongside that. And if you're a non-UK national, then there's other kind of paperwork and stuff. I always encourage my couples, you know, the further back into, you know, the time that we've got, even if it's just that first introduction, and then you've maybe got months and months and months in between before you meet them up again, is just to remind them that they are going to have to find birth certificates and they need to see if they've got their passport and their proof of address and all that kind of stuff.
Start looking now.
Yeah, absolutely. Birth certificates, I don't know what people do with birth certificates. There'll be a pile of them somewhere in, you know, just a locked room, I think. But always to kind of tell them to try and gather that side of things. It just makes it a wee bit easier when it comes up to the application stage.
Oh yeah, and it just doesn't feel rushed then, does it?
I
don't know where.
Yeah, but additionally remind them that this is one of the most important parts to your wedding day, and without that bit of paperwork that you get the marriage schedule when you apply to get married, if you forget to bring that on the day, it's a very expensive party because we cannot marry you without it. Exactly.
And I know, you know, there's sometimes where it has been forgotten or you know, it's been misplaced, but we as a celebrant cannot start a legal ceremony until that paperwork is in front of us. And that's part of our responsibilities as set out by the Marriage Act 100%. As well. So it's not us just being a killjoy and saying, no, we can't do it. I know you're telling me it's upstairs in the room or it's at home in the mantelpiece, but until we've actually got it.
An outdoor ceremony as well, it can become a wee bit kind of unclear for couples because they just think, but I'm going to this place, so therefore I can get married. But the registrar will ask for coordinates of specific spots. And obviously you and I spoke about, I went up Ben Ann for my sons to conduct a wedding ceremony. But the fear of a wedding schedule blown off Ben Ann was just not something I wanted to have the stress of. And obviously speaking to you, made perfect sense to do that down in the car park. But on the day itself, it was beautiful weather, it was absolutely lovely, and they were saying, can we just, you know, do that and get photographs? And I was like, absolutely not, because this is where we've now said, where the registrar has now registered due
and
to
it's Scotland is weather. We need a backup plan.
Definitely,
you know,
there's no way I was taking that marriage schedule up there. Absolutely not. But it just shows you though how strict the process is, and you know, having to make that really clear to couples. And it's not to be a killjoy, and it's not to take away from the experience, but that's just the legalities of what we need to do. And when you forget about that, when the application's in, when everything's taken care of itself, you can go back to the shiny stuff of all the lovely, loving things that you need to do to get you married.
Oh no, definitely. And I think as well as always, you know, speaking to couples at wedding shows or even if they're phoning or anything like that, whoever they choose, one of the things I always say to them is make sure they're legally authorised. There's a lot of independent celebrants out there who can do like a ceremonial ceremony, but they can't actually legally marry you. So there is different ways that you can go about it. But if you actually want to get married on the day, is make sure that your celebrant is authorised. As you know, member of a belief body, etc.
I couldn't think of anything more stressful than finding out that the celebrant that you've booked is not actually legally able to marry you. You've got days until your ceremony. That just to me would blow my mind. But yeah, no. So it's definitely a conversation that happens really quickly in the process. I think with any celebrant and their couples, is to make them aware of exactly what it is they need to do when they get married. Because it is such a big part of the process. Probably the biggest part of the process. For us anyway, they probably don't think that just because they want to look at the lovely things that they're going to do in their ceremony and get married to the person they love and all that, you know, nice stuff that comes with it. But without that piece of paperwork, there is no legal marriage, there's no legal ceremony.
And I think as well, once you actually sit down and get in the headspace of filling out your M10 form for marriage or a CP10 form for a civil partnership, it's actually really straightforward. And that information that you've already told them to get, so find your birth certificate, find all your, you know, your other documentation that you need, you'll actually be able to pull off of that documentation what you need to be putting on the forms. So it is actually relatively straightforward.
Definitely.
It's just always just that scary thing, it's something legal.
And it is. And that wee reminder as well, there is a fee So don't think that this is just a free application, you do need to pay for it. So just making them aware that when the application process starts, there will be a call for a payment of sorts. So yeah, it's just covering all of that and making sure. And I think when you manage their expectations, you take away that anxiety. I remember myself when I was going to put in my paperwork, that's when for me it became real that I was actually getting married, because it became this legal aspect. And obviously picking up the wedding schedule before the wedding as well, it was all this like, we need to do that, we need to do that, we need to get it. And it added a wee bit of the fun actually. So to say that it is, you know, some couples do find it stressful, but actually picking up your wedding schedule is very exciting.
It's all part of that, of making it real, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. And obviously as well, as celebrants, we're all trained, we're all, you know, we do this a lot, we do it kind of pretty much every day. We're on hand as well, so as I tell, as a couple, they can always pick up the phone or drop us an email and say, hi, can you help me with this bit? And if we can't answer the question, we know where to go. So
one of the things actually that comes up in relation to the wedding schedule, I've had this now a few times where somebody's been gifted a special pen. So for whatever that may be, a graduation pen, or it might be whatever pen they've had, and they've asked to bring it so they can sign the marriage schedule with this significant pen. And it's, you know, managing that as well as to say, no, can't use that, it needs to be a fountain pen, and actually I would prefer to bring that so that I know it's the correct fountain pen in the day.
They can do the photographs with it, because you can pose with it,
absolutely.
because trying to get a picture of while you're signing actually something, to be honest, it doesn't tend to look great. When you're actually doing a posed one afterwards, so whether it's you actually looking at the camera or you're kind of pretending to sign, I think it looks far better as well.
Definitely.
Do make sure your face is right as well, and you're not